Okay, so I finally got around to watching Ted 2. It was released on 6/26, um, the gay marriage day, whatever. I talked about how I thought this movie was probably pretty telling because I was foreshadowed this day, whatever, and I just never got around to watching the movie. There's actually not a whole lot that I really noticed in the background, but just the basic story is what makes me really wonder. Um, so basically, the whole movie is about Ted and his wife are having problems, so they decide to have a kid, but he can't have a kid. So they're trying to get um, like other people's sperm or whatever, so they can have a kid. But then when they realize they can't really get any, or they finally do, but they can't. Her ovaries or whatever are messed up, so they can't have kids. So they try to adopt a kid, and then it opens up a can of worms, kind of thing. And they Ted is the reason they can't adopt is because Ted isn't really a human or whatever. So the whole point of the movie is about civil rights. I mean, I've made tons and tons and tons of videos on the Civil War type theme or civil rights type theme that they've been running. And I mean, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that this movie, since it came out in 2000 on this day, that maybe that's just why they did it. But it doesn't really make that much sense because the movie actually started. Let's see here. It was announced on October 2nd, 2013. So, I mean, the whole civil rights thing wasn't really that big in the news at that time. And then it even stopped filming on November 13th, 2014. So I just kind of want to point that out because some of the things that they say in this movie just don't make sense. If the filming was done on November 13th, and you can even click on these links and it takes you to the Twitter of Seth Macfarlane saying that that was a wrap or whatever. So this was the day that they quit filming the movie. And they have things like Tom Brady's balls, and they talk about Charlie Hebdo, or Head, however you say that. They talk about Bill Cosby, all these things that happened after this movie was filmed. So I mean, whatever. Maybe they added it in there. Maybe they did the reshoots or whatever it is. Um, even on the Tom Brady part, you can definitely tell that he they ADR'd it in, like because Mark Wahlberg's you can't see his mouth moving, so they must have dubbed it into the movie like you're not a cheater. I understand that, but the whole point is, why in the world did they choose Tom Brady out of all the people in the world? They chose Tom Brady to try to steal his sperm. I mean, and I get it that maybe he's from Mark Wahlberg and whatnot. They're all from like that the same kind of area, so they would be a fan of Tom Brady or something. But it just doesn't make any sense that like Tom Brady just broke a big story, and then he's actually in this movie. I even remember on the Super Bowl, I think it was in the commercials, they had a TED 2 advertisement even. So I mean, it's definitely pre-planned. They even do a joke on Ferguson, which actually was before this movie was done filming. They do one on Robin Williams, like so Robin Williams, Ferguson, even the German Wings flight. Like, why in the world would they do that? So, like I said, you can't really prove that they didn't just add the stuff into the movie, but it just seems kind of fishy that they throw in all of these jokes about recent events that happened well after the movie was filmed. So not saying that they couldn't, but it just seems kind of weird, especially with Seth MacFarlane's all the Family Guy stuff predicting things like ridiculous, like the Boston bombing, um, and then like Robin Williams and Bruce Jenner being a woman. Even I remember there was something about Paul Walker on that one episode, which I think I made a video on that about. It was right around the time that Brian, whatever his name is, the CNN guy was a liar or whatever. Um, I even made a video about. There was an episode, and it was about. It was called. Let me pull it up. It was this episode called "Baby Got Black," and it was basically, just kind of a little white versus black episode. And Chris was dating this guy Jerome's black daughter, but in the movie they actually put in Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed, and they also had Randy Quaid in this episode, and it was before Scott Stapp came out and said the Illuminati was trying to kill him and all of that. And he was even born on August 8th, 8/8, the 88. So it was before that even happened. And they have him singing, but then at the very end they have Randy Quaid sleeping in the bed in the hotel. And they're like, oh, I can't remember what Peter says. He says something about, hey, you want to help me kill him or whatever? So, yeah, let's see here. When Randy Quaid makes another comment, Peter and Jerome plan to kill Randy Quaid. And if you watch it, they're just making a joke that Randy Quaid is crazy and saying that, talking about the Illuminati and whatnot. And it's just interesting they put Scott Stapp in that same episode, and then like 6 months later, he comes out and does the same thing that Randy Quaid does. So, pretty weird. But it's not that surprising. So, this isn't the first time that Seth MacFarlane, he must be able to see the future or something then, because, or it's all pre-planned and everything else. It's so obvious because Seth MacFarlane, now if you remember back in 9/11, he was actually supposed to be on a plane, the Flight 11, but somehow, supposedly, he had a hangover and he got a wrong time and he missed the flight, right? And I'll pull it up here. Well, I mean, and this guy, they had the meeting on the 88th floor, and he supposedly missed it. All these weird things. Oh, they just accidentally missed their stuff to not get on these planes. Seth MacFarlane. Just wanted to point out, he was supposed to be on American Airlines Flight 11, but he missed the flight. But you know who else missed the flight? And he was supposed to be on this same exact flight, Flight 11? Mark Wahlberg. Interesting. Now they're making movies together. And it's interesting that they throw in the Charlie Hebdo joke in there, for whatever the reason they throw in all these things that happened after the filming. But Mark Wahlberg, I made a video about him during that Charlie Hebdo thing. And he was in a movie in 2002 called The Truth About Charlie. And they even show a map of exactly where Charlie Hebdo was or whatever. And I pulled it up or whatever. It's just ridiculous. So, and the whole movie's about like a spy, he's a spy and has a fake name and everything else. I never put it together until now that maybe it's something to do with Prince Charles, because I've been talking about Prince Charles or Queen Elizabeth maybe dying. So, I don't know. Maybe that's the truth about Prince Charles here, if it'll pull up. So if Queen Elizabeth dies, he will become the King of England. So, who knows? Just kind of wanted to pull that up really quick and show you. But this movie also is a remake of the 1963 film Charade, or however you say it. 1963 is 52 years ago. And I've talked about the number 52 dealing with the Queen like crazy and whatnot. So, also this movie was, it's based or set in Paris. And I think even in the very beginning, the guy gets killed on a train, and that's how the whole movie starts. I mean, that's what the whole movie is about, too, like, because the lady's husband gets killed, and that's what builds up the whole plot and whatever. But it's just so ridiculous. It's on a train. How many more train things can they do right now? I just seen today that in France, or Paris, yeah, there was 2 members or whatever stopped the attacker on the train. Big story today, right? Just so ridiculous. On the train. And makes me want to watch the movie Stand By Me again. But anyway, at the very bottom of it, France has been the site of several lone wolf terror attacks this year. I mean, we've been talking about how it all stems back to Lupercalia, which deals with the wolf. Why would they even write that in there? Several lone wolf terror attacks. And then, I'm not even going in depth with these, but then also, I think it was today or it says yesterday, there's an article about the wolf pack discovered in California, the first in more than 90 years. Go figure. They're making a story about a wolf. Even says the discovery of a wolf pack in Northern California. 5 pups and 2 adults. 52. I mean, just, it's insane. It's not even insane. It's predictable anymore. So, whatever. Gonna move on here. So, this movie even has Morgan Freeman in it, who I just made a video about, dealing with Batman and whatnot. He's actually Ted's lawyer at the very end, because they need like a better lawyer. So they get him, and at first he's not going to do it. Then he decides that he will at the end of the movie or whatever. And then Ted wins the case so they can have kids and blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I'm not going to do a real full decode of this movie. Just wanted to talk about it. But Morgan Freeman, so his daughter or granddaughter died on 8/16, not 2017, 8/16 of this year, and Ted 2 came out on 6/26. And that's a span of 51 days. And the video, in that last video that I made, I talked about the Batman impersonator who died at the age of 51. And then Batman in Gematria even adds up to 51. So, who knows? Just find that kind of strange that Ted 2, 51 days later, Morgan Freeman's granddaughter dies. Morgan Freeman also, I noticed he's in this new movie coming out, London Has Fallen. And it comes out on 1/22. That's the 122nd day is 5/2. We've talked about this multiple times. So pretty crazy. I mean, you can just look at the picture here. London Has Fallen. Just makes you really wonder. I mean, what's going on here? Even Mark Wahlberg's full name adds up to 122. So I just found that kind of strange. I mean, these guys, they definitely, they don't both miss the same flight in 9/11. And then, it's just crazy. They're in all kinds of movies, and Seth Macfarlane's making stuff that's predicting the future. I mean, it's insane. There's no way that's not planned. I mean, believe what you want, but I've done tons of research into this, and it's never ending. Like I said, it's almost predictable anymore. I guess I did want to show this too. One of the few numbers that actually do really show in the background of this movie is this one at Tom Brady's house, because Mark Wahlberg cuts the air conditioner so they can go in and try to steal his sperm or whatever, and the temperature goes up to 89 degrees. I mean, I don't know how many times I've talked about that. With Queen Elizabeth is 89 years old this year. 8/9, there's 144 days left. It's the 221st day of the year. 2/21 is the 52nd day. It all ties together with 52. I mean, there's tons of connections. If you watch previous videos of mine, you would understand a lot more. So I guess the last thing that I want to mention is that at the very end of this movie, everything is about the movie Rocky. They name their baby Apollo Creed, and then Ted takes the surname of Clubberlang, which is Mr. T in the Rocky films, and that's all to do with Philadelphia. Rocky is all about Philadelphia. So once again, they're foreshadowing the Philadelphia and the Pope's visit and everything else. I mean, it's just insane. I'll just pull it up here. I wanted to show you Mr. T, like he's Clubber Lang or whatever. But Mr. T, born May 21st, 1952, and he is 63. And then he also, Rocky 3, when Mr. T, he made his debut, it was also Hulk Hogan was in this movie. And Hulk Hogan was in the news, and I made a whole video on Hulk Hogan. And the race and the civil justice and whatnot, so. But who knows, I'm running out of time here. I just want to show the gematria of a few things here. So, the whole movie is about Ted not being a human. He's actually known as property. And the word property, 133 and 52. Numbers we've talked about multiple times. I mean, just whatever. The name Clubber Lang is 43. That's all to do with the racial stuff. Abe Lincoln and tons of 34, 43. They foreshadowed it in tons of media things this year. Apollo Creed with the name to baby, 106.52. Both numbers we talked about. This is all about the Philadelphia train wreck. The 601 on it going 601 miles an hour, or 106 miles an hour with the 601 on it. And then 52, so who knows? just another Philadelphia connection. So.